Good morning. I don't hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
At least.
Could you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Hi. Okay. Hello, everybody. Just some seconds to allow to our director in office to admit all the participants, and we are going to start in a few minutes, in a few seconds. We just wait some minutes. 1 minute. Wow, so many people. I'm seeing. Okay. Oh, okay, just few seconds and we are going to start. First of all, I will. So, okay, so it's 1 minute after, so I think that we can start. Okay, then I'm starting. Okay, okay. Okay, so thank you. So welcome and thank you to everybody for participating in the event, and we are very very glad to host you. And welcome so to the third webinar of this series of tourist talks that aims to facilitate quick knowledge sharing and networking among tourist industries companies. I'm Valeria Fantozzi and I'm a part of Federturismo Confindustria team. That is, what is Federturismo is the Italian National Federation of Travel and Tourism companies and serves as representative body for companies operating in across the several segments of the tourism industry in Italy, and it belongs to the main Confindustria systems. Today's webinars, that is entitled The Future of Working Tourism Adapting to the Digital Age and Disruptive AI Innovation, Artificial Intelligence Innovation, is the third one after the first that has been dedicated to the best practice and possible new models for integration of immigrants, refugees, and asylum seekers in the European tourism labor market, and second one entitled on the technological disruption in the tourism sectors, trends and impacts. So, what are tourism talks? Tourist talks are are conversations that are parts of deliverables of the Pax for All projects, whose partners are Federturismo and then EBBB, that is the European Association of Vocational Training as Institutes, ACME International, Rural Tour, and ITH, Istituto Tecnologico Hotelier. The project aims to what? To coordinate tourism-related upskillings and reskillings initiatives, including the European Commission's PAX for skill for tourism that is as a part of the European skill agenda. Moreover, the large-scale skills partnerships, I mean LSAP, under the Pax for Skills in tourism, that has been running for 2 years since its inceptions, and has so far managed to involve almost 100 signatories that have expressed their interest in working together to achieve better upskillings and reskillings condition for the tourism workforce in Europe. So the Pax for All project funded by Erasmus Plus program, what does provides is going to provide the necessary resource to address current and future training needs in the European tourism industry. Through the webinar of today, we will have a conversation with experts from several European countries on how and we are going to talk about on how the tourism industry is evolving in response to technological change. So we are going to explore during this session how digital tools and artificial intelligence are transforming tourism roles and responsibilities. Moreover, what workers and leaders need to succeed in a new tech-driven environment, how new technologies are creating both opportunities but also very tough challenges. And we are going to see if there are already some best practice for training, reskillings, and workforce development. And then to ensuring that the benefits of innovation will be accessible to all stakeholders. Okay, I'm just so I'm quite sure that will be a very a nice talking conversation. So let's get started. And I'm going to give the floor to Mr. Edo Colombo, that is the president of Tourism.ie, the Italian Association for Artificial Intelligence in Tourism. Please, Edo, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you very much. The right name is Turismi in Italian and in plural, turismi.ai. No, it's no problem. And so we will talk about how artificial intelligence is changing the tourism industry on different sides. And so let's start with the presentation. It will works. Okay. So this means that we can have a look at how it is changing, and it has changed the way we travel. In the past, we used to have fixed information like something collected through maps and guides and whatever. And then in the past, in the last 20 years, using the technology, GPS navigator and artificial intelligence already, nothing new. We can have dynamic information using something that is related to what is happening around us to GPS localization and to also dynamic information about events or about mate or whatever. And in the future, it will be something completely new, something that don't involve us even in driving, because cars will be self-driving. And so thinking about what is something we can call about assistant intelligence, not only artificial. Artificial is a word that sometimes is not so like something food is something that is related to something synthetic. And so we prefer to talk about assisted intelligence or maybe augmented intelligence. And the navigator is probably the best comparison because it's something that can estimate the the time we need to do a part and the best one with the cheaper or maybe the shorter and is in real time telling us what is maybe there are some accidents or queues. So this means that it's really in real time, and we use also it maybe doing the same path going home just to have the best information in real time to choose. And another important thing is that from having information, fixed information, we can have now real-time information. You can understand what is happening. These are some example of real-time information. So maybe using QR code or biometry or publishing some contents on pictures and photo or reviews and payments or doing check-in or connecting to the antennas of GSM or 5G in the future, or using translation or using maybe QR code and domotics. And so we can understand that some big data can be translated from behavioral data. So this is checking now. I did it in the last 20 minutes because I asked to ChatGPT to do this slide to you can see that it is written in some way not correctly, but it's okay. It's about search history of booking or maybe behavioral on our apps, or maybe we have interaction with chatbot, and then so or maybe we have transactional data, payments or purchases on OTAs, and so maybe understand also how is our behavior in fronting some dynamic pricing. Also, environmental data is very important. Weather condition is a condition that maybe can change our behavior, can change our path, and also IoT sensor or air quality. Geolocalization, we talked before, and the operational management data, all that hotel occupancy can influence maybe price, and revenue management is something not new, the same as navigation. So artificial intelligence is something that is happening in this evolving. So let's see it on different point of view, from the tourism point of view, operators and destination, and obviously citizens that sometimes are maybe not we don't think to citizens in tourism, but citizens are becoming more and more important, especially in some destinations with over tourism problems and overcrowded. So on the tourism side, we can see that there is some, as we saw, we say before, some information that can improve our travel planning, so we can have a personalized itinerary, or maybe we can ask which is the best time to do in terms of queues or in terms of dynamic pricing. So some destinations are giving some dynamic price is a way to try to manage flows and to influence good behaviors. And in terms of languages, is something that is really happening in this weeks. Google Meet is releasing a way to talk and to be translated in with our voices, with our voice in real time. And so this is something that will open to different countries where maybe there were big barrier languages. And obviously, in real-time assistant, as we saw, we can have some responses on what is maybe we have an emergency, we have lost our luggage, or we have some health problems, and so this can be an helpful assistance. In terms of operator, we can see that we can do target marketing. We can be very precise, is using information from the maybe calendars or different holidays in different countries, or maybe understanding who is our customer and understanding how to personalize the offer. And we know that how we present our offer on the web is not the only way people and tourism will collect information about us, because through the artificial intelligence, maybe, for instance, I have some uh, preferences about an hotel, and they're not maybe described in the front office in the marketing documents, and so I can collect information from reviews or maybe some other contents, and so it's a new way to present. And also in terms of SEO, search engine or optimization is completely changing, because artificial intelligence is giving some answer which are not based on our publishing of contents. In terms of operation, there will be more and more efficiency, as we can use information to predict maybe maintenance, or to avoid some failure. And so this will be very important. And also in terms of robotics, we can have some kind of virtual concierge robotic, and can use this technology also to personalize the experience, to personalize the relation with customers. So it is not so sure that we can say that it will substitute the human interface. Instead, it can be an assistant also to give a better experience to the customer. In terms of destination, we can have some good information to do manage flows, and to be effective to try to nudge some better behavior. And also in terms of sustainability, it's very important to have some information to predict how maybe in some destination that have a kind of seasonality, we can have a lot of information to be most effective, and to avoid also waste, and to be more sustainable. And this is obviously a matter of predictive analytics, and so we can understand who will come, wherever he comes from, and also how long he will stay. And so this kind of information maybe will influence also marketing, also because there will be some topics about, for instance, CO2 emissions, and other kind of topics that are maybe now not yet easy to understand, not using this. So, the artificial intelligence will help to harmonize the relation to citizens and tourism, and to give opportunity to have a global connection, and also technology that are helpful for citizens, and both are helpful for tourists. And so we will have maybe the chance to use this technology to have a smart city. Smart destination is something different. A smart destination is related to be more effective and competitive in terms of tourism, obviously, and in terms of smart city is more maybe effective to administration topics, and also about taxes or whatever. And so it's something that is made. It's not so related to what is important for tourists. And also balancing demand is important to have, not have malfunction in terms of services, in terms of energy, or maybe water and water consumption and whatever. So let's see that AI revolution is a matter of data. We were used to use historical data, and have an analysis based on retrospective. Instead, now we are going to a real time, and so living live monitoring. So this means that we can act, and also in terms of governance, the tourism minister have to have this information, and in the past he was not able to act in real time. And now, so in terms of governance, it will change a lot, because tourism has to be managed in using information for transportation and for energy and whatever. And so it's a wider matter. And obviously in future, we have the chance to predict, and so this will be more effective. And so let's conclude with this. It's in the past we were able to get answer from task forces, but now it's important to understand how to ask to the data, which will be the better way to act, and so we need the ask forces, and so this is it is important to do the right questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Colombo. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's a very inspirational. Thank you. So let's go on. Let's go forward with Miss Susana Garrido, Digitality and General Education Program Manager, Senior Lecturer in Marketing, Les Roques Global. I don't know if my pronunciation will be okay. And so the stage is yours. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us, for having Le Roche in this amazing event. And well, it's nice to share the views and the opinions and what we see the future is going to be like for tourism, and especially for the workers in tourism. So let me share my screen. I have a small presentation, so very short, that I want to share. Perfect. Okay, so in this presentation, what I'm mentioning mostly is because we all know that artificial intelligence is here. We all know that there's we started with the digital transformation a long time ago, and we are still in the midst of it, but it's taking an exponential speed. So everybody is looking up and seeing, okay, how is this really going to shape the world? And of course, for our industry, for tourism industry, we are wondering how is this going to change what we do and how we do it, and also the things that we are expecting as travelers as well. So let's have a look. This is a very high or very bird's eye perspective on how we see that the future is going to be like in tourism, and how AI is going to affect. So we all know that things are changing, okay? And even though we are talking about technology and innovation and things that are coming up that are completely out of or completely opposite to what a human is, because the human is we have lived it through the pandemic, no? The difference between being able to interact with people and not being able, and so we have seen the difference between this technology world or technology led, and then having the human part. And tourism is very human. I think that we all agree that. So I like to point out that even though we are looking at technology changes, tourism, which is a little bit of the opposite, is still very, very strong. It's an industry that is growing, that is projected to keep growing, even though we are pushing to a technological world. So this is something to bear in mind, that tourism is still going to be there. And of course, we need that human component of tourism. So how are we going to put both of them together? How are they going to interact together? There are things that we need to take into account. So things are definitely changing the way in which we work in tourism. We have on the one side, as I mentioned earlier, so the digital transformation. We have been talking about digital transformation for some time. It used to be an option for businesses. You can become more digital, you can become more technological. Now it's not an option. Now it's something that you definitely have to do. So now technology is central to all of the operations, to all of the interactions. Everybody is expecting, your customers are expecting to have more interactions with technology. Now, maybe the human will be there only when needed, but when it adds a lot of value. But the digital transformation of the technology is central. So this is one of the key elements of the future businesses. And then, of course, we have since we have all of this technology that creates a lot of data. And we have been using tons and tons of data for forever, no? So this is not something new. But right now, I think that the capability of analyzing and using and making decisions based on that information has taken a great leap. So it has moved so much faster now that we have all of these tools that help us detect patterns, create new relations. So this is something that is also part of the workforce, or part of how we are dealing with our businesses. We have the technology and all of the data and how we use that data in order to make decisions. But of course, we have the workforce, we have the people, we have the humans that are going to be piloting or driving all of this technology and using all of these data. So the business cannot run on its own. So we still have the workforce, and that's the way that we want it. But the workforce are becoming more diverse. They're becoming more resilient, or at least the resilience and being able to adapt and to adopt any changes that might come. This is one of the things that are going to be key for us in the future of tourism. So having a workforce that is inclusive, that we don't leave anybody behind, but also that they're able to adapt. So how are we going to make all of this happen? How are we going to create it? So therefore, the digital transformation, as I mentioned, is not an option anymore. It's an imperative. It's a necessity. It's something that we definitely need to do. First, because it enhances, it improves the digital experience. We have a very clear idea. Everybody uses technology on a more or less extent, but everybody uses technology. And we all have our preferences of how we want to use that technology or how we want to interact with this technology. There are some occasions in which I only want to speak to a machine, in whichever the way. And there are occasions in which I want to talk to a person. But the digital experience, for sure, has to be there. So we have now virtual tours, online booking, and now this is a standard. So even having a chatbot that answers easy questions, I don't want to have to deal with phone call, with a call center, with emails back and forth. I want something that is quick. So there are certain things that are now standard. They used to be something innovative, but now they are the ground of things that we are expecting. So the digital experience needs to be there. And in order to offer that digital experience, we have to develop our employees. Our employees need to know how to use those platforms. And we also need to train them on how to take advantage of those platforms the best way, or how to adapt to what the customers are requesting. So employee development, they have to be ready. The employees, they need to be ready to offer that experience. And then also something that is imperative, and Edo was mentioning this in the previous speech. So this is about also the marketing strategy. We can customize experiences so much, and not only at the level of a business, but also on the level of a destination, that this is becoming very, very important. So I don't want to see any communication, let's say, about things that I'm not interested anymore, because I know that there is the capability of adapting the content to what I want and to what I don't want. So therefore, everybody's expecting the expectations of everybody regarding tourism, regarding the experience. The expectations have gone up. So this is why businesses, destinations, so everybody, all the stakeholders that are involved in tourism industry, we need to be prepared. How are we becoming prepared? We need to make sure that the coming generations and the workers that we have, they need to be prepared. So we have to be ready to train them. AI is definitely one of I think it's probably the most quoted word in the last year, and it will probably continue to be like that because it's something that is disrupting not only tourism but every industry. How is it impacting? How can we take advantage of this new innovation for businesses, especially tourism, which we are always struggling with finding the people for the shifts and how to adapt to demand and so on. This is a very good opportunity to augment your staff. So your staff is not only multiplying your staff, but is to make your staff more powerful and more helpful, really, and they can add so much more value when they have the help. I love how Edo mentioned not artificial intelligence but the assistance intelligence or something like that, because this is really what it is. It's an assistant to the human that is working, no? So this, I think that we should, instead of not only automating things and making things more efficient, but we can actually augment what we offer in all of our employees. So our employees all of a sudden become a super employee, okay? Because it reduces a repetitive task, and therefore the staff is able to put more effort, put more time in the purely human interaction. So this is the thing. So I can take less time doing things that really don't add value or they are not so personalized, and so that I can take care of the human factor. So I think that this combination is very, very powerful for tourism, which we still have the human factor. And also the AI is very disruptive it's going to be very disruptive in tourism because it's automated help. So it's help that I don't have to wait for. I don't have to wait for somebody to be available. I don't have to wait for somebody to reply to the email, reply to my request, but it's automated assistant. I can get assistance anytime that I want because it's set up like that. And again, this enhances the experience. And we have been so accustomed to getting this as customers that we expect this. So we have to be able to offer that level of service when we are providing this for tourism. And then for this, we have chatbots, we have dynamic pricing systems. And so all of the things that are going to help us optimize operations, this is something that definitely we need to be prepared for. And our workers obviously need to be prepared for that. In the end, what we want with this augmenting the staff and also automate the assistance is to enhance the experiences. Like I said, we are all expecting so much. Everybody's very, very travel savvy. Everybody has traveled, they have been to different places, and they have experienced different things, and we are expecting a lot. Therefore, we need to also offer a lot, and we have to enhance the experiences that we offer. How do we do this? It's not the old time, yeah, we'll create something personalized. It's this time or now, it can be so personalized that it can be created on real time. Like, for example, a tour to the city that I can personalize and have it created maybe in 5 minutes instead of going to a travel agency or going online, checking different places and creating my itinerary. I can actually do that now in 5 minutes. But also, the person who's providing that or the person who's helping with that, they need to be ready to that request. And they need to be ready not only for the request, but they need to be ready to use the system in which that request is going to be provided. In the end, still what we try in tourism, and I'm very confident that this is going to be the same way, is we in tourism, we still are looking for the same things, which is memorable experiences. We want to create good memories, and when we travel, we want to have good memories. So this has to be, all of the decisions that we make in the business has to be aiming at that result. So how should our employees be in order to provide all of these things that we are requesting as travelers? So first of all, we have to have the digital literacy. This is something that it's like the top, or the cherry on top. This is something that ideally our workers, we want them to be. So as you see, if we start by number 4, by the base of this pyramid, the continuous learning has to be one of the basic things. Why the continuous learning? Because things are going to continue to advance and to change and to develop and to increase and to improve. Therefore, one of the basic skills of our workforce should be the continuous learning. They should be willing to adapt. Also, the cultural competency, this is number 3, no? So you have the next step on this pyramid we start from the base, obviously. So the cultural competency, we're still global citizens, and to be aware of the differences and similarities, and to be able to speak the same language, not only cultural wise, but to be able to speak the same language in all senses with different people. So this diversity also, that's why it plays a huge role in the changes that we see in the market. Then the data analysis, and we mentioned that we are providing, or we are getting so much information and so much data that we have to be able to analyze that. So finally, the cherry on top is the digital literacy. So ideally, besides being able to adapt very quickly, being able to adapt to different cultures, being able to interpret data, this is what we want, that our workforce is prepared for whatever is coming, really. So this is why this pyramid is built like this. So tomorrow's workers, they are going to need both the technical capabilities and the essential human skills. The fact that we have the machine doesn't take out the human part of it. And again, we can go back to the pandemic and see how much we miss that human component. So we can never remove it from the tourism experience. And then the most valuable asset in tourism keeps being the adaptability, again, because of the changes and because of everything else that is coming. So how should we do it? I have some examples of La Roche. In La Roche, we do global hospitality education. And in looking at this data, we realize that we have to rethink the training. So it's not only about what we offer them in terms of being able to handle clients and to run a hotel or to run a hospitality tourism business, but it's also about how do we prepare them to be ready for whatever it is. Nobody knows what the future is going to bring. Therefore, we need to prepare them, or we need to make sure that they're open to whatever is coming. So first, of course, we need to analyze the data. So when you are, and also you can do this for your company. So if you have to rethink the training of your employees, first is you have to see what the data is telling you. And then you have to develop those specific learning. When you see the gaps in what your workforce needs to know or needs to be ready for, you need to develop, or you need to list, and you need to create that program. But also the program cannot be set on stone. It has to be flexible. It has to be changing. It has to be adapting. So this is something that you also have to consider, that whatever you decide today to train your workforce is not going to work next year, probably. And this is also one of the reasons why we run innovation programs in which we change every single semester, because every single semester there's always something new, and therefore we need to adapt and be flexible on the things that we train on. In the end, what we are looking at is to adapt our tourism businesses to AI, to innovation, to anything that is coming. So in the end, I think that everything aims at turning the transactions into something more personalized. So it's not about the business, or it's not about exchanges of an experience for resources, no. But in the end is shifting the business from standardized, from this is what I offer, do you want it or not, to I offer whatever is personalized to you. And for this, we have realized the capabilities of AI integration. AI can help us offer those customized real-time experiences. So this allows us to enhance the customer experience, but also the inside of the business, the operations. But finally, or remarkably, what we cannot forget is that the organization has to foster the culture of innovation. If the organization is very resistant to change, it's very, we have always done the things like this, and if it's working, why change it? That's something that needs to be broken, no? Because we need to have an organization that allows us, or allows the same organization to grow. So one of the things that you can foster, that you can enhance, that you can encourage in your organization is adaptability, flexibility, and openness to whatever is coming, trying new things. So I think probably that is one of the new skills that are going to be basic for the workforce. And so what are the challenges? Because of course we're going to be having a lot of different changes. So what are the opportunities? What are the challenges? But in the end, the keys to success in all of this transformation is to develop tech savvy. So they need to be somehow trained in how to use technology, but mostly adaptable workforce. So right now, this is the technology. I know how to use it. Fantastic. Tomorrow is another technology. Okay, I'm open to learn it, and I'm open to try it, and I'm open to see what it has to offer. So the adaptable workforce is key. Also, embrace AI as collaborative tool. So it's not something that is going to take our jobs. I don't think it is going to take our jobs in tourism at all, again, because of that human component. But it's a helper. It's an enhancer of what I do in my job. And I think that is the way. It's like the little companion that we have in our shoulder. That's what AI should be like for all of the employees. And we should train them to see it like that. And again, commit to lifelong learning. This is something that is happening right now, but we don't know what is going to happen 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now when we are almost retiring from the industry. But we don't know what is going to come. Therefore, we have to be committed to, okay, I know that this is what there is right now. I'm learning about this right now, but I know that at some point, maybe I have to learn about something else, and that should be fine. And I think also one of the keys is to create ecosystem. So it's not only about being isolated in what we can do for our organization, but try to build relationships and partnerships, collaborations across industries, not only in tourism, but probably there is something, and this is something that we do in La Roche as well, is to look at what other industries are doing, what kind of technology they are implementing, and maybe see what could be that application of that or that influence into tourism. Talk to them and see how they can show us. So this is definitely something that we can learn a lot from, not to be isolated in this is tourism, so everything that is not tourism is not relevant. It's right the opposite. Because the future in the end belongs to the organizations that can balance that technology and innovation and also the human connection. And I think that's even more important in tourism, the human connection enhanced by technology in order to offer more value. So thank you very much. If you have questions, I'll be here for a little bit. So thank you so much to the organization for having us.
Thank you so much, Ms. Garrido. Really interesting speech, and I really appreciate how you depict the human and culture, a new set on mindset that we are going to have. So yes, really thank you. Interesting. Words to her. Just one techno info. If you please feel free. If you have any questions, please feel free to write in the chat. So then, at the end of of all speakers' speeches, we are going to try to reply to them. And now the stage is for Mr. Manuel Auyong Oliveira, a lecturer, researcher, Universidade de Aveiro. Thank you so much. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Valeria Fantozzi. Thank you for the invitation to be here today among such esteemed and prestigious speakers in this event with a lot of participation. So I'm just going to give a brief talk about artificial intelligence and tourism. Is it really a solution for all? I work, as Valeria said, I work for the University of Aveiro. I'm an associate professor with habilitation in the Department of Economics, Management, Industrial Engineering, and Tourism. So first of all, what I do is I sell knowledge or I sell education. And what changes have happened in tourism education? Are students more or less interested in class? Do they want to listen to what we have to say? Are student essays getting better? I think with artificial intelligence, a lot can be done, but it's not really a solution right now. It's going to evolve a lot, as we know, over the next 2 or 3 years, but it's not really perfect yet. And I'll give some examples today about where we can still improve artificial intelligence. For example, I'm sure that you know with the referencing, if you have to write an essay with references, artificial intelligence is not yet perfect. It doesn't get the references very well. It's much better to go to a Scopus database or something like that. So according to the social norms approach, there is perhaps a misperception about what artificial intelligence is already available or able to do. So where can we use AI in tourism? Obviously, travel experiences can be enhanced. we increase efficiency, and we can reduce costs. We can obviously replace people or substitute people with artificial intelligence. There's a very interesting article. Actually, I didn't write this. I wish I had. It's about generative AI versus humans in online hotel review management. As we know, online reviews are very, very important, have a big influence on what we actually end up buying or going and visiting in tourism. So artificial intelligence basically is a system or machine which acts like a human, thinks like a human, and acts rationally, which is something new, because before machines were not seen to have these capabilities. But something new also, referring to generative AI, is that they can generate text, images, videos, and ChatGPT is the most well-known example of that, and it's very good for natural language generation, powered by pre-trained transformers or GPT. So unprecedented intelligence allows us to understand human languages and generate content even indistinguishable from human writing. So we can get a machine to write a text for us, general text or more specific, and we cannot really distinguish between what was written by a human and what was written by a machine. But what is really important, I think, is that in some domains, yes, artificial intelligence is already outperforming humans in programming, medical diagnosis, already outperforming humans. I have family members who are doctors and say, good, it's artificial intelligence is very good. As regards tourism, though, it's a little bit different because it's more challenging. It's about subjective in-human interactions. So perhaps AI is still not quite where it needs to be to replace us completely in the tourism industry. So what does this mean? I'm sure that we've all had negative experiences during our tourism travels. And what really do we want when we're online giving a review, or making a complaint? Do we want to be tended by or answered by an AI assistant or a chatbot? Do we really want that, or do we want somebody human to really feel our emotional needs? What do we prefer? So basically, consumers really rely heavily on online reviews in decision making, for sure, especially when purchasing intangible products like hospitality and tourism services. But when we're making a complaint, when we are dissatisfied or satisfied, do we want the same sort of response? And what this research actually has found is that managing online reviews will directly impact financial performance, for sure. There is no doubt about this. But there's an essential component whether you are dissatisfied or satisfied. And basically, two-way communication is very important. So we're online doing a review, but only around 30%, according to Zhang et al. 2025, only around 30% of hotel reviews receive managerial responses due to labor shortages, because there's a lot of challenges regarding how many people we can have in each task and each function. So generative AI is very powerful to draft responses, and it's an alternative solution to labor shortages, ever more popular to have AI answering people online. But it's a difficult task. It involves human interactions, and we'll see in the next 2 or 3 slides how Zhang et al. Call attention to one problem which AI is not yet able to resolve. And this has to do with satisfied versus dissatisfied customers. If you're satisfied, you tend to be okay, less demanding. You want to move on to the next experience, to the next relationship, intercultural, perhaps in your holiday as you're experiencing it. But dissatisfied customers are more difficult to placate. Let's say that they place a greater importance on digital response variation compared to satisfied customers. So when dealing with negative reviews, high repetitiveness in responses can intensify consumer dissatisfaction. So people can actually become more dissatisfied if they're answered by a chatbot rather than by a human being who seem to really understand and have empathy with what they are saying. So less pronounced for positive reviews, but there is a very, very pronounced emotion and preference for people when it comes to negative reviews online. This also is in line with prospect theory, which was invented or created by 2 individuals, Amos Tversky, who passed away in 1996, unfortunately, and also Daniel Kahneman, passed away earlier last year, I believe. But basically, they say that losses are felt more intensely than equivalent gains. So when we're talking about dissatisfaction with tourism services, then we have to really intensify the human aspect. So this is what the prospect theory graph looks like. So basically, we can see that if you're satisfied, there is a curve here on the right. If you're dissatisfied, then you feel losses much more. So dissatisfied customers more human interaction is required to satisfy them. Okay. Does anybody have any questions so far? Any questions? No? Also, this is a paper which we wrote for the COTS Tourism Conference, myself, Matilde Macedo, Ana Palma Moreno, and Theodoros Grassas, also from Acne International. And tourism, do we prefer artificial intelligence, robot, or human being? What do we prefer? So this is what a paper we wrote and was published or presented late last year, 2024. So basically, we all know that there's been profound change for humankind in the era of artificial intelligence, no doubt about that. But do we prefer to interact, as we've said, with human beings or machines? If we are dissatisfied, we prefer human beings. But human intuition, is it about memory? Can machines replicate our human intuition? That is a question which I'm sure you can answer yourselves with your own intuition also. What is creativity? If it's all about memorization, memories are much better. Machines do not forget, as we can see on Amazon. Everything that we put in Amazon.co or .co.uk or .com is memorized, and they can give us all of our preferences. And the same for tourism, suggestions of where we want to go based on what we have experienced in the past. Paul McCartney, a great musician and songwriter. How good was that? How good were they? The Beatles. Can artificial intelligence replicate their natural talent for creating songs and based on their own experiences? Can artificial intelligence replace that? Would we be so thrilled at the performance of a robot in a restaurant that we would give them a tip, a financial gratification, something that would probably get a good answer or response from a robot if they're programmed to answer such an experiential giving of money to them. So is technology, what is the role of technology in its future in tourism? Susana Garrido gave us a very good perspective on that. Will the human element become irrelevant? I believe not. One of the reasons I think also Portugal is such a relevant or popular destination is because of the human element. Even though even in Portugal, you can come and go from Airbnb or hotel with no human interaction already. This is possible, as you know. We did 9 interviews and 2 focus groups for this study. And we concluded that obviously we still prefer human interaction. We still prefer coming to a hotel and interacting with a certain employee, somebody at reception is better than having just an AI substitute. So when we did on Scopus, which is a major database in the social sciences, if we put artificial intelligence and tourism and robot, 144 documents were found with this specific search in July last year, 2024. As we can see here, 144 documents. So it's a very, very specific area which is growing. Already mentioned also, I think, by Susana and by Eduardo. There is a lot being said about artificial intelligence, robots, Internet of Things, and decision-making, classification, consumer resistance, all of this very relevant. These were just created by big data software platforms. This is by Voss Viewer. You can see here in the bottom left corner. So this is also another possibility, which would take a human being to do such a diagram, would take us hours or days or weeks. With Voss Viewer, it's practically within 5 minutes, we can create diagrams like this. So basically, what is AI? It's a broad variety of techniques, methodologies, learning, machine learning, algorithms, deep learning, robots, and so on. It's development of computer systems that can outperform or perform tasks which require human intelligence. So yes, we can be replaced, but not yet for all tasks. I still think that humans are better, for example, also in the classroom than perhaps just asking AI to write an essay for us. I think it's better to have a discussion with a teacher in class. So tourism, banking, e-commerce, all being vastly, profoundly affected by AI, as we know. There's a lot of laying off. There's also what we call suffering due to AI. There's robot usage, which is the dark side of negative impact, also has a negative impact on tourists and also tourist workers, because do we prefer to work with humans or with AI companions? I think we all prefer to work with humans. So there is what we call the fear of automation, and people are being frightened away and pushed away from tourism jobs and the industry because they fear that they will be overtaken by AI and similar tools. And they prefer, in such an uncertainty avoidance culture as Portugal, for example, which has a very high uncertainty avoidance culture, they prefer to work with other people rather than being surrounded by automation, robots, and artificial intelligence. So AI brings a lot of uncertainty. Yes, it makes traveling simpler, but there's a lot to be done. I think come to the end of my 10-minute speech. Have I come to the end of my 10 minutes, Valeria? So I have a lot to say about AI and happiness. Feelings of happiness can be measured by AI on Instagram, for example. Social networks is where people go during and after holiday destinations and holidays. So what are they showing with the community? AI can actually measure that. The dark side is that we're becoming very, very dependent on these tools, and it's actually not doing wonders for our memory. I used to know 20 telephone numbers by heart when I was a young boy. Now I only know 2 or 3, my wife, perhaps my children, and that's it. Because AI, the dark side is that it's really substituting us, and there's less critical thinking, as was mentioned previously by the other speakers. So this is a book that we did, Training Needs Analysis. I invite you to have a look at it. It's on Amazon and on different platforms. The Future of Tourism and New Training Needs Analysis. Sustainability, technology, artificial intelligence are really very high on the agenda. So this book was written by myself, Anna, Mathilde, Cicero, and Theodoros. So perhaps have a look at what we have to say here on the future of tourism and the training needs analysis. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Oliveira. Thank you so much for this really, really interesting speech, and for your so wide, overview on the AI world. With all its aspects, and I will hope to have the chance to. To listen to you for another occasion, for another webinar. So really, really thank you so much. Very, very interesting. So yes, I repeat, if you have any question, please feel free to write in the chat. I think that yes, Mr. Colombo is left, but is already left.
I'm still here.
Okay. Sorry. Okay.
I will move on the mobile.
Okay. Perfect. So, okay. So you are still with us. Okay. So, wow. Thank you so much. It's such a very, very nice and interesting morning. And so now we are going ahead with Mrs. Elisa Piras. That is a Center for Advanced Studies Europe Senior Researcher. I hope I said all info correct. And please, the stage is yours. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I'm Elisa. I'm Senior Researcher at the Center for Advanced Studies, one of the institutes of Europe Research in Bolzano, Bozen. So I'll try very quickly to tell you something about several projects that we are currently working on. Of course, I cannot go into details, but if anyone is interested in asking questions, I'm always available, of course, even in the next days to say something about the different projects. So the thing that I'm going to present is how to look at the transformations of tourism, and especially regarding the workforce needs and tasks as a result of the technological and especially AI revolution. So my claim is that we need, of course, to adapt, to learn to use several devices and new communication codes, but at the same time, we also need to develop a vision in order to keep the human focus at the center. So here you have some very quick data regarding the example of South Tyrol in our institution, Europe Research. Since 2018, there has been this project ongoing, which is connected to the World Tourism Organization of the UN. And that collects and updates the data regarding the microcosmos of South Tyrol as far as its touristic sector is concerned. So here you can see that it is a very important sector for South Tyrol. South Tyrol is a very tiny, I would say, territory close to the Austrian and Swiss borders in the northern part of Italy, and it has a beautiful and fragile alpine environment. So here the needs between tourism development and preservation, conservation of the environment are particularly important. So as you can see, the employees in the accommodation food service sector saw an increase during the last years. What we also see is that the contracts are changing accordingly with the economic situation. So we have more and more short-term contracts and precarious contracts. And we have a slight growth of the female enterprises also in the accommodation and food service sector. What we can see is that, and that's of course depending not only on the digital revolution, but also on other changes in the tourism sector, we have been experiencing a sensitive increase in the need for energy. And energy management has become very critical, especially as far as the production of energy and then, of course, its consumption are connected. As I said, South Tyrol is an alpine environment, so of course bringing energy is difficult, and producing energy in loco seems promising, but it has its upside downs, and some of my colleagues are currently working to try and estimate the possibilities that we have to increase let's say, the efficiency of management of energy. So what we see also looking at the STOST annual progress report, which is a report that looks at all the indicators about sustainable tourism, is that for South Tyrol, the GDP share for tourism equates 11.4%, and tourism, according to EU data, is the second top region in Europe for nights spent in accommodation, in touristic accommodations. In 2023, the arrivals were 8.4 million people, so a slight increase over the years. If you think that the overnight stays were 36 million and more, and you consider that South Tyrol is, again, a very tiny region with 500,000 inhabitants, this is really this gives an idea of the impact that the tourism has in the South Tyrolean system. So what we see is that we witness daily critical socio-ecological aspects that reduce the sustainability of tourism as an industry. So having said that, the artificial intelligence enhanced technologies seem to be promising, but also reveal some dangers, or at least some aspects that are sensitive and that we need to focus our attention on, and that we need to, of course, train the workers of the tourist sector on. So some of the socio-ecological aspects that we need to keep in mind, as I said, we saw a slight increase in female-driven or female-led businesses in the tourism sector, but still we have a worrying gender pay gap of 11.4% in the sector. This means that women having the same mentions and role and function of men tend to be paid less. Of course, this is a problem for the whole sector, and in the forthcoming year could lead to the depletion, let's say, of female working force for several services that are essential for tourism. We also see that South Tyrol is a case in point when we talk of over-tourism. The pressure on natural resources and on good quality public services is increasing because of huge tourist fluxes, and also some ethical dilemmas are arising, and the population seems to be very worried about that, like the idea and the vision that we need to develop about the touristic sector. So is South Tyrol a destination for the masses and for every kind of consumer, or is it something only for the richest people? And what are the social impacts, of course, of using beds that are not many in of workers in other sectors or students. So we see and witness every day rising negative attitudes towards tourists and tourism as a sector in the population. And of course, this means that the vision is needed in order to change these attitudes. Also, and this is something that we have been addressing at the Center for Advanced Studies, workers in the tourism sectors need to manage many more tasks than before, and need to look at different aspects that were not traditionally something they should look at in their work in the tourism sector. For instance, the human rights implications of tourism, according to data collected by ECPAT International, 3 million people every year travel in search of sexual relations with minors. So the focus on minors' human rights and also on vulnerable people's human rights more in general, think of people with some form of handicap, for instance, is important. It guarantees the sustainability, the social sustainability of the travel experience, and it also guarantees that human relationship and caring relationship that hospitality especially is supposed to have. At the same time, it is a difficult task. People need to be aware of several phenomena that we can have in tourism venues and in touristic destinations, and they need to have the skills and the tools to act if they need to, in order to prevent abuse or to report them quickly and effectively to the public forces. So what we saw with the recent project is that this problem is especially important now, not only in traditionally affected places such as the Global South destinations, but also in all touristic venues because of the ICT development. So the cases of non-consensual recording of footage, for instance, of minors, and the sharing through, for instance, Telegram channels or other kind of technology facilitated networks is a problem. And the personnel, of course, very often doesn't know about it and doesn't see those, I would say, markers that signal that something fishy and possibly harmful is happening. So this means that we would need to develop new skills and to train people to protect vulnerable workers. And to do that, we should impact also on the training curricula. There are some challenges connected with the digital turn that employees and managers, of course, would need to consider. Here, just a very quick overview. Something has been said by the people who talked before me about the potentials for using AI for good in the sector, but still we also need to manage AI responsible in order to maintain sustainability at the core of the touristic practices. So data protection and safety, cybersecurity plans are needed for all kinds of businesses, even for small scale businesses that are the majority, for instance, in South Tyrol. And also a closer attention to the sustainable development goals, not only the ecological ones, but also the social ones, should be needed in order to make people more willing to contribute to the reach of these goals. Of course, this needs that some investment need to be done, but always investments accompanied by a vision in order to empower employees and make them active agents that can really contribute to keep the tourism sector sustainable. What's important, of course, is to enhance their skills to communicate better through AI intensive tools. But this also means that people are asked to increase their workload, and sometimes they can face stress due, of course, to an intense use of the digital devices. And all these needs to be taken care of in a holistic idea of the work wellness. What's also important, of course, is to provide high quality training, so looking at up-to-date technologies and, of course, high quality equipment so that the workers are not asked to pay in order to, of course, be competitive and contribute to the good of the business. And of course, having a dialogue with the workers is important in order to reduce the risks for mental and psychic health and to improve the quality of the work experience. It's not just using workers, adding new roles and new tasks on them, but it's just redefining possibly in a shared way the role and figure and professionality of every employee. So this is just some idea, of course. I would be very happy to share the slides and share with those people who might be interested some of the resources that are absolutely freely available, open access books, some reports, some other studies and current projects that we are working on, looking at different dimensions of the ongoing changes in the tourism sector. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Piras. Really, really interesting your speech, and really interesting also that we have to highlight the social, ethical aspects of artificial intelligence, not only the ones linked to business to make money, but the aspects relating our lives. So thank you so much. Really interesting. Just one note: some people from audience told me that he was not able to write down the question on the chats, but I think that now the things are. It will be available to write down. Yes, I see someone. So the problems are solved. So one more time, I invite the audience to write down any questions if they have, and we will we will happy to reply them. But now we have to go on with the last speakers. There will be Mr. Alexandros Sainidis, Knowledge Manager of Acme, and thank you so much. And please, the stage is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just give me a moment to share my screen. And in the meanwhile, let me say that I see a lot of commonalities with what Susanna was saying, as well as Manuel. Manuel, I really liked the mention of the behavioral economics and Kahneman. I'm a really big fan, so that was a big boost. So yes, I'm Alexandros. You can call me Acme, a knowledge manager to explain basically deals with the strategic use of organizational knowledge for business science, for competitiveness, for overall improvement. And we will see why this is actually relevant to our case here. So one fun fact about me is that I'm involved in the project teams of both AI for VET for AI and Turex. Both are centers of vocational excellence, the same time of a EU project. And it's interesting because AI for VET for AI obviously is centered on artificial intelligence, meaning that we're looking horizontally at all the industries, including services, including tourism and hospitality. And on the other hand, we have a Center of Vocational Excellence, where I'm also responsible for all the educational material, all that coordination, where we are obviously concentrating on the subject of tourism, hospitality, and any aspects that involve that, meaning that we look at sustainability, at digital skills, at intercultural competencies, and of course, artificial intelligence. So these two projects for me intersect as I'm involved in the different tasks of it. And it's an interesting case of added value that also contribute to our understanding in artificial intelligence in tourism. So what we must begin with is that artificial intelligence or AI is not monolithic. I say monolithic, and I choose this word because besides it being Greek, of course, most people and most employees view artificial intelligence as ChatGPT. Why is that? Because it's very general, it's very accessible, and contrary to other technologies that did spread fast, like the smartphones, for example, because a very big percentage of the population has smartphones, but not laptops, for example, right? And even in least developed countries, you would see the prioritization of smartphones over other tabletop devices, for example. Here, exactly because the smartphones have taken this hit, have done this cycle of maturity globally, the adoption of artificial intelligence and the adoption of the perception of what is artificial intelligence, both in daily life and in business, is formed by the large availability of ChatGPT. So the most frequent use that we'll hear about in an organization that is not too tech savvy is that maybe, for example, the front desk employee will use it to write an email, to write some reviews, to make some content, because we use the language so much, right? We think in language that matters. So for that reason, the applications of artificial intelligence at first to a business may seem a little bit limited. You're playing mostly with words, while there are logistics, where there are geographical information, all that can be involved under the umbrella of tourism. However, exploring the diversity of AI applications, as well as the concept of industrial AI, and when I say industrial, I don't mean factories, I don't mean heavy machinery, is the key to unlocking the potential in tourism. So one hint is that since all those large language models that are trained like ChatGPT are generic, their potential is limited because the data they have is very broad, but it's also not very specific. They're mutually exclusive conditions here. So contrary to that, what is advised is that we have also a specific artificial intelligence model developed for tourism, as it is obviously used by tech-savvy companies, but it's not impossible to see that even a hotel chain maybe does hire an AI specialist to train a model specific to its needs and to the organizational knowledge it holds. Already, there's a hint of knowledge management here. So another, let's say, barrier is that tourism is very human, right? It's perceived as something emotional, highly personalized. People go to destinations to relax. This is also something that matters because we work as machines, but we want to relax as humans. So, okay, maybe my business trip, for example, also involves some robotic things. It requires me to be a machine that performs well in a conference, or I need to write a report or to coordinate with partners, for example. That's all energy intensive, right? But you still want to have your ease, you still want to have the best conditions, you want to relax and be efficient in this manner. And also, besides that, even if the character of tourism is human, every business is an organization, and every organization is capable of using AI and harnessing its benefits. So this already helps us understand another dimension of AI that was heavily mentioned by Susanna in her own way previously. And this is what leads us to knowledge management. Now you see some weird icons here, and you may wonder what I'm trying to say. And it is my guilty pleasure to make people wonder and create some mysteries just for fun. So the point is that if we exchange two items, let's say I hold a red apple and you have a green apple and we exchange, then each of us has an apple at the end, right? But if we exchange an idea, I hold one idea, somebody else holds one idea, and we exchange them, then we end up with two ideas each. So this is one of the powers that knowledge sharing, knowledge creation creates in an organization. The more people know, it's an asset that multiplies over time. So why is knowledge management important here? Because it looks both at the processes, the people, as well as the technological infrastructure. So processes, people, infrastructure, like protocols, how people behave, what they know, the human resource management, and then you have the technology. So if you take the artificial intelligence and to bring it closer to the uses there, this is how you bridge the capabilities of a large language model, for example, with the technological tools and the data provided by systems like CRMs. Here's another interesting aspect is that apart from being an agent or a helper, as it was mentioned as well by Mr. Edo before, as an assistant, I also like looking at artificial intelligence as an environment, because at the end of the day, it can be connected to things like Internet of Things. It's really trendy in virtual reality and augmented reality. But what I like to point out is that people often forget the line between an agent and an environment. Say, for example, you have Alexa, the voice assistant, right? If you are in your hotel room and you ask, for example, for room service through such an assistant, do you think of it as an agent or as an environment? Because there's a really nice point that Nikolaos Christakis made. He's a Yale professor, Yale University in the US, is that he's afraid that people might be rude to artificial intelligence, because if they're rude to those systems, they might transfer this behavior to humans as well. And of course, they are often rude anyways to a lot of tourism personnel if they're dissatisfied, for example. That's part of human nature. But the point is not to exacerbate. So it's important to understand and adjust these kinds of balances just to see how people behave and how it translates to the overall experience through this behavior overall at the end of one's stay, if we're talking from the point of view of an AI system in a hotel, for example. And then, of course, as I mentioned in IoT, it can improve the sustainability. If we're talking about green buildings, if we were talking about heat management, all those things. Of course, as it was already mentioned, AI also can be looked as part of operations. It can reduce the reaction time and introduce more protocols that are automated. And generally, it's good because it makes us think how the digital processes are connected in the organization with the human tasks involved. Why is this important? Because it makes even those employees who are not really engaged, who are not tech savvy, to sit back and understand, looking at the system, how everything is integrated. So it eases the administrative tasks in such a way, and it boosts the digital maturity. Digital maturity is part of culture, as it was already mentioned, and it basically means how ready an organization is to embrace more technology. So even something like a selection of an AI tool for something very specific, it can increase the digital maturity if it is introduced in the correct way for a more radical implementation of AI. Now, of course, there is AI as content. It's much easier to produce a lot of it, but we must be careful not to make it in a way that signals laziness. For example, from my experience, when I create content, I then edit it. I even edit the images. I even make them as vector images, so I can tweak them as I want. And there's also the interesting aspect of some nations that make campaigns, touristic campaigns that companies can then use for their advertising. And AI can save the costs of that kind of content as well in the future. Some things here is that, of course, we have more emphasis on data. On big data, we have segmentation and personalization, which have already been mentioned, and we have a better understanding of consumer behavior through natural language processes. Processing, which brings us to sentiment analysis. So instead of just looking at words that signal some positivity or negativity, we have a much more analytical review. And from a labor perspective, it is unlikely that robots will exactly replace workers in an environment that values human interactions. It's much more likely that they will be somehow integrated. They can, however, be part of boosting resilience, because resilience is very, very important in a business that is affected by seasonality. And another thing that I really like to mention is how the AI boom will also bring other people from other industries to tourism. Because you may be a data analyst, as I said, who has no connection to the tourism industry at all, and you just start working on an AI model for a startup, for a hotel, for a travel agency. So that's how you bring new opinions and new views to the sector. Finally, just to close, I want to play with your appetite a bit. This is from my stay in Tanzania, where I was teaching at African schools. And they had this really nice and appetizing looking homemade burger. And I loved it because, a machine cannot make homemade food, So I really think that human flows do beat this kind of artificial precision. Somebody talked about artificial food at some point, so I think it's relevant. I liked that. And I want to bridge that with the fact that humans do make mistakes. Clients know that. It's not about making the mistake. It's about how you handle that mistake afterwards. So I think that when somebody is professional, when they're a problem solver, they are able to handle this and resolve it, and this will increase the satisfaction of the client at the end of the day, which is what we want, to have a very nice and pleasant journey. I thank you a lot. I thank you for your time, and I'm open for questions.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Alexander. Yes, thank you. You really, thank you to let us to thinking about some AI topics that we take for granted. I mean, and you let us to go deeper. Okay, just few minutes before the ending of the webinar. So there are some questions that I'm going to read from the chat. I have ones from Slovenia, and in Slovenia we are also facing the modernization of that curricula, integration of digital skills and AI in the education programs. I'm interested in experience from other countries on how to integrate digital and AI in tourism education programs. I don't know who would like to answer. Maybe Mrs. Susanna, you would like to answer? Uh, uh,
Sure.
yeah, just sorry, just one thing. Yes, there are some questions about the presentations. Yes, they will be shared on the website. Sorry, just please, Susanna. Yes, please.
Yeah, okay. So let me tell you what we are doing. We have a school in well, we are global hospitality education, and we are in Spain. So just so you see the differences in how it works. So it applies to more countries. What I mean is, and also Switzerland, China, Abu Dhabi. So what we are doing is instead of changing the whole curriculum and adapt it, because we know that at some point it will also need to be changed because something else will come up. What we are doing is including embedding technology and innovation within the program. So what we do is maybe some of the projects that the students have are related to new technologies. So as long as they fit within the content of the course, we are including those projects done together with companies. So the company comes, maybe they explain their solution technology, and students need to apply it to the course, to the technology, and to tourism. So that is a way of combining everything and always be ready. So therefore, it's like adapting. It's like adding to the curriculum depending on the collaborations, depending on the company, depending on what is trendy in technology. Students get exposed to the latest because it's something that runs parallel to the program. So they have the traditional, in a way, hospitality and tourism studies, but also on top of it, they have the layer of whatever is new, we bring it to campus, and they do projects related to the courses and also to those new technologies. So it's a way of combining both. That's at least how we're doing it, and it works really fine.
Okay, thank you so much, Susanna. I'm very sorry because there are a lot of other questions, but there is no more time. We need to close. But for example, I have a question to address to Elisa Piras from Bulgarian Ministry of Education. I will send you to your email. Okay, so we can reply. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, really, for to all the speaker and to the audience. Really, it's very interesting, and it is not so easy to have such a very deep aspects about artificial intelligence that have been talked about every day, every seconds, every in each webinar all over the world. So really thank you to all, and the registration, the recording of the webinar will be in the next days, as well as the presentation will be available on the website of Pax for All. Thank you so much to all, and I will send.
Can we have a group photo? Can we have a group photo, perhaps? A group photo?
Oh, yeah, sure. Why not? For me, it's okay. I don't know for the other one.
Anybody want to do a photo?
Yeah, no problem. Of course.
Okay. So just everybody's switching on their cameras. I have a, okay, 1, 2.
Two.
Oh, there's still people more coming in. Luca.
Wow.
Okay.
What a nice audience. I see some known people.
Okay, one. Let me just do one more.
Yeah.
Is it okay to put it on LinkedIn? Is that okay with everyone to be on LinkedIn? To be famous and socially?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very
Sharon,
much.
thank you. Thank you so much. And I will, I will address the questions to each speaker. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Good.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Bye.
Bye.